Okay, so we're back with what is it? Day number two, three of recording 100 minutes of content. Don't even know. Just posting it out there, right? Uh, I was doing some reflection last night, and it honestly gets me mad that I couldn't talk to this one person. So in my old job, I used to do lawn care, and I used to work in upstate New York. And this one customer, he would come outside and greet me. Like, hey Jose, how you doing? How's everything? How's it going? How's your day going? How's your morning going? And stuff like that. And that really touched my heart, and I loved it so much. He's a sweet old man. I had mad respect for him. It's just amazing. One time I met his son, and I was doing a job, and he invited me inside, and he's like, hey, come inside for like 5 minutes. Sit down. Let's talk a little bit. Let's have some coffee. Just talked with him for a little bit, had some coffee with him, met his son. Well, I had the coffee to go, but whatever. You know, he was honestly a great man. And that really reflected to me that I should have that kind of hospitality to I should have that kind of hospitality to people. In anything. In business, my regular day to day life, whatever work I work, right? And that's just an amazing thing to see. And I love it. And there's a lot of people out there who aren't very, hospitable. They're not very nice. They're not very kind. And just seeing that kindness in that old man really touched my heart, and that made me realize, like, hey, I should be doing this in my business. I should be doing this in my day to day life. I should be doing this in my job. And I should have, integrity when it comes to doing this business. I made sure that I was hitting every single corner when I was doing the pest control. I made sure I did every single corner. I made sure I hit every single piece of grass that I could that was visible to me, every single thing. And I made sure, because this man, I went above and beyond for him, because he showed me hospitality. He showed me something great, and and put a smile on my face. He showed me how kind he was, how kind hearted he was. And then the second incident was when I went to his house again. His wife made some cookies, and I ate them, and I was like, oh, these are phenomenal. And he also gave me a cup of coffee, and that throughout the whole entire day made me happy, made me realize that, hey, there's some kind of hope in this world. There's that human connection is amazing, right? And I don't know, I just loved it. And throughout my whole entire day, I felt happy. I felt great. I'm like, you know what? I got my cup of coffee. On to the next house. Let's see what we can do. The guy was pretty cool as well. In the next house as well. Just that alone, just carrying on the whole entire day, it's just a blessing, man. And just reflecting on that really, really did touch my heart, and I really do love that old man. And I wish I had his address so I can pull up on him one more time, just thank him for everything, and just give him a housewarming gift or something. But in business, it's easier to focus on profit, but character is what truly builds legacy. I learned that years ago, not in a boredom, but in someone's front yard. Wait, no, it wasn't a long time ago. It was a couple months ago. I didn't start that over. In business, it's easier to focus on profit, but character is what truly builds legacy. And I learned that by going to an old man's house to sit to talk to him. I can't even speak right now. Whatever. I learned that a long time ago just by going to an old man's house and taking care of his lawn. And I forgot his name. I have it somewhere, I think, written down or in my notes. I'm not too sure, but as of lately, I've been doing that, trying to write down people's names so I can remember it. So that way, I know next time I know them, they know me. Like, hey, how you doing, John? Hey, how you doing, Jerry? Whatever the case may be, right? So, just in business, it's easier to focus on profit, but character is what truly builds legacy. And what is something that people are gonna remember you for? Right? Are they going to remember you for your hospitality, for your integrity in business? Are they going to remember you for your honesty, for you showing up on time? Are they going to remember you by meeting deadlines? Or whatever the case may be, what is somebody going to remember you by? Are they going to remember you by the good that you did or the bad that you did, right? And there's many instances where you guys have probably met many business owners. I know myself, when I walked into a small business shop, the first thing I noticed is the business owner, right? It's either they're happy that you're there. They're welcoming, the warm welcoming. They're like, hey, thank you for showing up. Thank you guys. The most attentive people out there. Or they could be the complete opposite, right? I had some business owners that were not paying attention to me, didn't really care about me, didn't acknowledge my presence that I was there in their establishment. That totally turned me off. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that they didn't obviously cater to me. I'm not this person like, oh yeah, like you gotta cater to me. No, like out of respect for your customers, if you're a small business, I believe that you should most definitely acknowledge the presence at least, right? Hey, thank you guys for being here. What can I help you guys with? Like just something simple like that, that's amazing. That does go a long way. And thank God I'm not the kind of person to be like to write a bad review like, hey, this person just said hi to me, don't come to the store. No, like I took that as with a grain of salt. Hey, you know what? Maybe this person's having a bad day or whatever. But for me, that first impressions for me is super super important. And when I meet somebody, I want my first impression to be great as well, right? When it comes to business, when it comes to the day to day life, as well as making new friends, or in the workspace as well, right? That's super important first impressions. And I'll never forget, me and my friends, we went to a car shop to go look at some cars, and this one business owner wasn't acknowledging us at all. His friend was talking to him. He wasn't paying attention at all to us. He was being very rude, wasn't even looking our way. It was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just focused so much on his phone, not even on the customer who's right in front of him, who can make him a potential sale, right? And that I find sad, right? I believe personally, again, that you should cater to your customers, that you should make sure that they're the number one priority and not yourself, not your friends, not anything else. They're your number one priority. Once you focus on your customers, that's golden. That's golden because they're going to make you the money, right? And you need money to start, to fund your business. Excuse me. You need that money to fund your business so that way you can grow and expand and possibly have a second location. But that business owner unfortunately didn't do that. And I believe there's like another one or two more incidents that happened as well, and I just completely lost interest in their business. I didn't even bother shopping there at all. I just looked around because family or friends were there, looked around or whatever, and just walked out. Didn't really care at all, only because I didn't feel welcome there, And of course, again, I'm not this pious person like, oh, woe is, like, oh, hey, like, cater to me. No, I'm not like that at all. But when it does come to that, I do think most business owners don't even acknowledge their own customers, and that's a sad thing. I like to say they're one of the backbones of a company. Obviously, it's God first. Number two, it's your staff and your crew. Number three, it is your customers. They are the ones that are funding your business. They are the ones that actually help you make profit, make money, so that way you could eat, right? But yeah, on to the next topic. And again, I just wish that that business owner at the car shop would have shown me the hospitality the old man showed me. If he would have showed me that hospitality, I could have possibly bought something, right? Obviously, he didn't show me it, so I didn't ended up buying nothing at all. Only because I felt some type of way. I'm like, I don't like the way he. I didn't like this first impression that I got from this man, and it's sad, And I hope that he does learn from that lesson, and that he does, you know, offer hospitality to anybody else that comes into his establishment. And I wish nothing but the best, of course, because I know how hard it is to get a customer to, through the door. That alone right there is hard enough. And obviously we want them to get the sale, of course, no matter what, right? I got better lighting, bro. Holy crap. What if I... Whoa. But again, I just wish that the man at the car shop would show me some hospitality. Again, maybe I could have bought something from him. Maybe, I don't know, cards or something like that. You know what I mean? Or just building a good connection. Because again, money isn't always everything. But when it comes to business, connections are a super important essential to have. So that way you have access to capital. So that way you can make new friends, new business partners possibly, right? And they can help you expand. If you're struggling with, let's say you're only making 100 grand a month and you want to make $250,000, that person can show you, hey, I know how to make $250,000. Let's go ahead and connect. Show me the way, and then from there they'll be able to make that $250,000. Can't even speak right now. But just building that connection is super important because, again, if they know how to, if they know something I don't know, obviously I want to learn from that person right there, so that way I can make sure that my business is growing and thriving. And I do think that hospitality does go a long way, and that you can really make good connections through that, and it can really help out your business, of course, you know. So there's a Bible verse, and it goes like this: whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. And that's Proverbs 10:9. And in business, you never want to cut corners just to get them short-term wins, but it's always going to cost in the long term, right? It's always going to cost in the long term. There's no point in taking shortcuts in business, whether it be lying on your taxes or just lying to the customer so that way you can get that one sale. Let's say you have a product, $500, right? And you're so desperate to get that sale that you're willing to cut corners. If they have questions, make sure that you're answering those questions as thorough as possible, so that way they can leave with the information that you've given them and then buy from you right there and then or the next day. You don't ever want to cut corners in business. One, it's a shady look for you. But number two, it's not good for business. People are not going to recommend you. People are like, hey, listen, I don't want to shop at Jose's pool shop because he lied to me. He said that this would fit my the area of my pool when it doesn't, just so that way I can make a sale. And that, again, that can lead to chargebacks, and you don't want chargebacks in your business at all. It's not going to look good on you. And if you're going to sell your business and you have, let's just say, monthly rate, right, and you have a very high churn rate, people are not going to buy from you at all. They're going to be like, you know what, this business is not even worth looking at. So it's, at the end of the day, it's never worth it to cut corners at all. Always make sure that you're speaking with integrity, number one, but number two, that you're showing the customer you're 100% focus on them. Make sure that they're the number one priority and they're the focus, and that they're the apple of your eye, so that way they can recommend you to other people, right? I just stutter so hard right there. Hopefully Ovis Cliff can chop it up a bit. And here's another verse from the Bible, Colossians 3:23-24. Whatever you do it wholeheartedly, as if you're working for the Lord and not unto man. Wait, one more time. Colossians 3:23-24. Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men. And with that verse, I do truly think that everything we do, again, right, as Christians, we are called to do everything for the Lord, no matter what. Okay, we're supposed to be careful how we speak, how we act, how we conduct business, anything in general, because unbelievers are watching every which way, and that can literally turn them on to God, or that can turn them away from God, right? And honestly, it's super important to do that, right? It's super important to making sure that we're doing things for the Lord, so that He can get the honor and the glory, and so that way we can lead people to Christ. Ultimately, we can lead people to Christ. Ultimately, excuse me. And when it comes to that, right? Where is it? And just pretend those customers like you're serving to God, right? It's like you want to make sure that you're being honest with the person. You want to make sure that you're telling them the full details and that you're not lying to them at all, and that you're making sure that you go into full detail with this person. Again, with the pool analogy, right? If I say, hey, yeah, this tarp fits your pool, and it doesn't at all, that looks bad on me, looks bad on the business, and the people are not going to recommend me. If I have a Google review, they're going to leave a bad review. So many different things can go wrong, even if you just lie or cut corners. That's why it's not worth it to cut corners at all. It's really not worth it at all, because again, people are not going to recommend you. You're not going to make any money. You could be shut down within the first, like, let's say 6 to 12 months. Who knows, right? It's never worth it to cut corners. And you always want to make sure that you're excellent with the customer, honest, and that you're always caring, making sure that you're hospitable toward the customer, making sure that they're the number one priority, that they are the apple of your eye, and making sure that they get their questions answered, and making sure that they leave with the proper information. Again, I sound like a broken record, but that's literally what it is, right? And Proverbs 11:3 says, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Integrity becomes your internal GPS. It keeps you on the right track even when no one's watching. And it's true. I had, I'm pretty sure there's multiple times where I've gone above and beyond, right? Perfect example, when I was at a grocery store, you can't pack the groceries for them. I was going above and beyond. I was doing it for the customer, even though, they're like, hey, aren't you guys not supposed to do that? Yeah, I did it anyway, only because I care for the customer, and I was showing them, hey, you know what, like, I'm on your team, I'm on your side, I care for you, right? Just let me do like an act of kindness, right? Just that act of kindness right there again can lead someone to Christ. I don't know, only God knows, and they know, right? But just that one act can literally build a great friendship. And sometimes I know when I used to work at my old job, I used to pack the groceries for people, and when I used to see them in the street, like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Da, da, da. Chop it up for a little bit, Or next time they're in the store, like, hey, like, how's it going? Da, da, da. Again, just chopping it up with them. In or out of the store doesn't really matter, but just building that connection is really great. And again, that can tie down to some business deals, or that can be led to expanding your business again, right? Let's say that person I talked to, or let's just say the other day I helped the customer pack the groceries, right? And I'm not supposed to, and I was helping them out. And let's say an example, they know how to scale a business from 0 to 100,000 within, let's just say, 90 days, right? And I'm at 0 right now, and I talked to the person. We started chopping it up. They're like, yeah, I actually do this for a living. What do you have? I'm like, okay, cool. So this is what I have. This is what I'm stuck at, and they can get me from 0 to 100K in 90 days. And that right there is a good business interaction right there. That's a good interaction. Just because one act of kindness, that can literally lead to me being helped out of my business, and that's a blessing right there. And I feel like a lot of people, they oversee that the most simplest thing. The most simplest thing is helping somebody, and that can literally open doors for you. That can literally help out your business, help you, of course, as a person, a business owner, and help you to expand your business. And again, that's a beautiful way to spread the gospel as well. I feel like a lot of people oversee that, and I feel like I oversee it too most of the time, right? And I think it's a realization from God, like, hey, this is super important as well, right? Well, the Bible says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. That means when your foundation is solid, you don't have to worry about what's hidden. Your word, your work, and your walk line up. In business, integrity is your protection. It's what makes people trust you, even when things get rough. And of course, in multiple times, there's a lot of instances in businesses where, days are going to look great. Days are going to look rough, right? Let's just say the stock market, for example. Let's say with Apple, right? You bought the products before, you trust them, they've helped you out in the Apple store physically. Maybe customer support really helped you out a lot. And when there's bad times in the market, you're gonna trust them. Hey, you know what? They helped me with this. I'm gonna trust them. Probably not a good analogy, but just, or let's just say an example, right? Um, say an example, lawn care, right? Let's just say you've gotten your lawn done by somebody before, okay? And this person, they do a good job, they do everything great, phenomenal. Let's just say, God forbid, the lawnmower dies, and they're like, hey, listen, I have to run home real quick to go get my to go get an extra lawnmower because I forgot it at home or something, right? And if you build that trust with the customer, they're gonna trust you. Hey, you know what? I trust Jose. He's cut my lawn before. He's done a great job. He's always been on time. He's always made sure that the grass is cleaned up. Everything's great. So I trust Jose to go to his house to get the spare lawnmower to come back to finish the job. That right there is super important. Just to build that good CPR with the customer, making sure that they are the number one priority again, and making sure that they get what they paid for. Just going above and beyond. It reminds me of what Jesus said, right? If someone tells you to carry something 1 mile, go 2 miles. Just by going that extra mile really does say a lot about you as a business owner, as a person, as a believer, and that really does reflect outwardly. And people look at that, and again, people can recommend you to their family, their friends, other customers, other business owners, and that's a huge blessing for you again. And that's really something great, and I think that a lot of business owners should strive for, right? And again, integrity builds brand trust. Reputation is better than revenue, and that's true. When your customer thinks about you, are they going to think about you as great, honorable, and on time, or are they going to think of you like with a sour taste in their mouth? Like, this person never shows up on time. This person never does the job right. He always, does the job halving everything. He's not putting his full potential in this in this in this arena. Can we speak right now? And God blesses honest work and pure motives, and I believe that wholeheartedly, right? Again, I believe in the Bible verse, you reap what you sow. And if you're being honest with the customer, you have integrity with the customer, you're always showing up on time, you're always doing what you're supposed to be doing, you clean up after yourself, they're going to look at that. People judge off of that, and I think they're right to do that because, again, you're the business owner. They're trusting you. They're entrusting you with a task, right? Maybe they can't do it because they're old. They're entrusting you by cutting their lawn. They entrust you like, hey, Jose, I trust you to cut my lawn. I trust you to clean up after yourself. I trust you, with so many different things. And that right there is super important to have people's trust, and you don't want to break that trust. If you break that trust, so many doors that can be closed. There's so many opportunities that you've missed just because, you showed up late. You didn't clean up after yourself, or you didn't show up 100% to the customer. You're just halving everything. You're not fully providing for the customer 100%. You're only doing 50%. What kind of business owner are you, number one? But number two, why should people trust you? Most importantly, why should God trust you with the business if you're going to do that, right? Whoa, keep my stomach maybe. Okay. Shortcuts and deceit might accelerate progress, but they erode character. Yes, if you do a shortcut, let's say you're lying to a customer today, but tomorrow they can come back, that could affect the churn rate if you're selling the business. That can really, affect you as a business owner, right? People are not going to trust you. People are not going to like you. They're not going to do business with you. They're not going to want nothing to do with you at all just because you chose a shortcut, right? And that's something like a lot of business owners do, and I seen it firsthand, and it's not great. It's not great at all. Just lying to the customer because once someone shows up, let's say the professional shows up, hey, we're here, da 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 da, and you're lying to the customer. That's not good. It's not a good look on you, right? A perfect example of bad integrity is when I was in the solar industry. I know there were like a lot of reps who would sign up somebody just so that way they can put something up on the board. So that way, hey, I did good today. Like I made this appointment, da 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 da. And let's just say, a common thing in my industry was we were appointment setters, right? And we would set appointments for the closers so that way they can come back later on in the day or the next day and close the people. But when the closer showed up on the doorstep, like, hey, I never talked to this person. I never met this person in my life before. That looks bad. Number one, on the appointment setter. Number two, it looks bad on the closer. Number three, it looks bad in the company. They're gonna look at the company as if they had bad integrity, and they have every single right to do so because that's not good at all. It's not a good look for the business. That's not a good look for you as a rep or as a business owner, right? People are gonna associate with, let's just say, Solar R Us. They're I'm not sure if that's a company out there. So, let me use something else. So let's just say solar company A, they're not gonna trust this company at all, but they trust company B because they're honest and they have great integrity. Company A, they're gonna look at them like they're gonna associate with them with lying, bad integrity, never honest versus company B, and they're like, hey, you know what? They're honest. They always show up on time. I actually spoke to somebody. That's gonna leave a good taste in their mouth. Again, do you want to leave a good taste in your mouth of your customer or a sour taste? Which one, right? Wow. And again, integrity brings peace. Integrity brings peace. You can sleep at night knowing you did right. And I think that's super important, right? Like a lot of people, God gave us the conscience for a reason to determine what's right and what's wrong, okay? And if you can sleep at night knowing that you did the right thing, that's amazing. But if you can't sleep at night, you're constantly up like, hey, you know what, like I did this wrong. I didn't show this person good integrity. I wasn't morally right. Sorry, I wasn't aligned with my morals. It wasn't good at all, right? The overall situation wasn't great. It was horrible. And I think that like a lot of people need to take that into accountability that, hey, what you do does matter. It does matter, dude. It really doesn't matter what you do. I can't speak, I'm sorry. But what you do affects everything. It could affect you, number one, most importantly. Number two, affect the customer. And number three, it can leave a sour taste in that person's mouth for a long time. And they're not going to recommend you to, let's say, their neighbor, their grandmother, their mother-in-law, whatever the case may be. And that's going to affect you as a business owner, not make any revenue. And if you want to sell your business, it's going to be horrible on you because people are going to associate with you, again, no integrity, you're always lying, and you're never showing up on time or doing what you're supposed to be doing. Excuse me. Whoa. A prime example is as entrepreneurs, we're tempted to cut corners, fudge a number, overpromise results, take credit where we didn't earn it, but God honors the ones who choose honesty over hype. Integrity attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and most importantly, His favor. And I completely agree with that. And again, just to sum up everything, this whole entire video, just that one old man's simple act of kindness still reminds me, you don't need to preach integrity. You live it. Every deal, every post, every promise is a chance to reflect God's character. And I believe that's super important, right? Because what kind of person would look at a Christian and trust them if they're always lying, if they're not honest, if they don't have great integrity? That reflects a lot of things. One, of course, the business, but two, it reflects how they look at and view God, right? Like if I say I'm a born again Christian and I'm lying out there, I'm not showing integrity to the person, to the customers that I serve. Why should they trust me? And again, that reflects God. They're gonna look at God like, oh, is this, God's, he has no integrity, he has no this, he has no that. No, just because that's me. But again, as Christians, we represent God on this earth, and we need to do a great job by representing God as much as we possibly can. That doesn't mean that, oh, we're going to be perfect. The only one who's perfect is Christ and Christ alone, right? And we need to strive as much as we possibly can to have that great integrity, to speak, the truth, to always show up on time, being there for our customers, showing them that we care for them, right? And my prayer for everyone watching this is, don't lose sight of your values, chasing success, build your business on truth, and success will follow. And I do think that 100%, okay? And lastly, Psalm 25, verse 21, may integrity and uprightness protect me because my hope, Lord, is in you. And I do agree with that 100%. And that's why I think it's super important for Christians, especially, to make sure that their relationship with Jesus is straight. It's great. And you're always constantly in your word, in fellowship at the church, always asking questions, always trying to become that 1% better, of course, right? Because again, as Christians, we represent Christ here on this earth, and that does truly matter. How we speak, how we act in business, excuse me, how we act in work, and how we act in our day-to-day activities, right? Because we never know who's on the other side. We never know what their motives are. And somebody can be, let's say, like an atheist or whatever, but you show them kindness, and they look at that and they ask you questions. Again, that's a beautiful way to spread the gospel. That's a beautiful way for you to share your testimony. It's a beautiful way for them to see the power of God. And just like I explained yesterday in yesterday's video, we were reading Acts chapter 3, and the paralyzed man, he wanted money, but Peter and John said, hey, listen, I don't have money to give you, but what I will give you is the power of God, or not the power of God, excuse me, I will give you, I will show you the power of God, in the name of Jesus Christ, the Nazarene, stand up. And the man stood up, and he saw the power of God. Other people saw the power of God as well. And that's a huge testimony. He can tell his family, his friends, co-workers, anybody that, hey, listen, God gave me the ability to walk. And something my friend said that I loved, honestly, is, instead of them giving that that man some money, God gave that man something better. He gave him legs to walk, legs to go get a job, legs to go produce, legs to go ahead and provide for his family, provide for himself. That's I think that's more of a blessing, that right there, the healing versus just the money. And that really put it into perspective for me. And I think that's amazing. I think that's great. And with that being said, just thank you guys for this. We're sitting at 30 minutes and 25 seconds already. It's already 1:30. I'm going to go ahead and eat something real quick, film again, and yeah, go back at it, baby.